Live from New York City, it's the Wendy Williams Show. Today, grab a snack and settle in. Wendy's serving up all of today's juiciest hot topics. And actor Taj Mowry is here, talking about his hit TV series and life with his twin sisters. Plus, fashion guru Stacey London shows us the must-have accessories for spring. Now, here's Wendy!
Good. My people. Thanks for watching. My co-host, my studio audience. Tickets are free. When you have a moment, drop by and say, how you doing? I'm doing great. Let's get started. It's time for Hot Topics. Thank you. Now, we've got a lot to talk about. Thank you very much for that nice reception. But now look, I love you too, but I'd rather talk about right now, not our love for one another. I want to talk about the hate between Amber Rose and Khloe. Okay. Now, you know, they both are in the running to replace Kelly Osbourne at Fashion Police. And they're really both strong frontrunners. Khloe reportedly is doing anything. She's doing anything. No, she's doing anything to prevent Amber from getting the job. Khloe is doing that, including taking a pay cut. Well, no, hold on, because sometimes, you know, like we were talking in our morning meeting and I was saying, you know, it's horrible when somebody takes a pay cut, because a lot of times that's the trump card for a lot of organizations. You know, you have one here who, you know, on one hand, it could be you, an Ivy League graduate, more qualified than this girl right here who also wants the job. But as soon as this one right here, as soon as this one says she wants a pay cut, maybe the company will take the number two to save the money. I don't know. All I'm saying is, that's genius, though. that is genius to take a pay cut. But I will say this. I know somebody at E has got to be watching our show right now. Khloe doesn't need this job. It's Amber who needs the job. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'll tell you why. The E network can't be Kardashian all the time. That's what I'm saying. Although they have that new show that's about to start, The Royals. Are you gonna watch that? I'm gonna check it out. But anyway, it can't be Kardashians all the time. There's enough Kardashians with their shows and their spin-off shows. Khloe does not need this job on Fashion Police. Besides, she's not a very good host. We all saw her on X Factor. I mean, you saw it, and then they fired her. So, you know, I'm not talking out of school. It was true. She stood there with Mario Lopez, and she was horrible. And do I think that Amber could do the job? Yeah. But I also think for a show like Fashion Police, if you're going to put somebody else in the spot, like I said, I'd prefer for it to be a minority person because there are no minorities on the panel, number one. And number two, I prefer when the Fashion Police have a little bit more fashion experience, not for nothing. Now, these two girls are fashionable, but what makes them the police of how we dress? That's all I'm gonna say. Now, you know, personally speaking, as I was putting on my dress that's too short, to come out here for you. Some of you like it, but when you look on my Facebook page, they're like, you are too old. And I'm like, and my response is like, well, when you get your talk show, you dress the way you want. Look, no, but listen. So as I'm getting dressed this morning to come out here and be with you, I was thinking, you know who'd be perfect for Fashion Police? Oh, no, I'm not, no. Stacey London, who's here today. And here's what I like about Stacey. First of all, you know, Stacey keeps herself a show on TV where she's hooking people up with new fashions and things like that. So she's a fashionable girl. Yes, I know that she's not a minority, but she's Jewish, so that'll do. You know? And also, Stacey has got an opinion, like she's mean and then she hugs it out. Like Stacey is one of the only people I know who get away with telling you, you look terrible in those jeans and horizontal stripes are not for you. Your back fat is showing. Now give me a hug. That's Stacey. I love her. She'd be good for Fashion Police too, by the way. All right. She'll be out here later. In the meantime, there's a big brouhaha going on between Naomi Campbell and that model, Cara Delevingne. Well, Naomi's 44 and Cara's half that at 22. Cara's like the brand new supermodel, like she's everywhere. You know, if you read any of the magazines, see any of the runway shows, she's everywhere. So she's very sought after. But Naomi too is still, I mean, she's not a retired supermodel like how Cindy Crawford has the cream from Europe. You see the commercials? And you know how like Kathy Ireland does the Ray Moore in Flanagan? But Naomi is still modeling like a relevant model. So she's still doing it. And according to the New York Post, Naomi thought that okay. So they're in a small nightclub in Paris. Everybody's having a good time, smoking and drinking. I think you can still smoke in the clubs there. Next thing, Naomi thinks that she overhears Cara trash talking Rihanna. Now, Rihanna wasn't at the club, and I didn't know that Rihanna and Naomi were such friends. But that's how celebrity world goes, because like in real life, what does a 44-year-old have in common to be friends with, a 20-year-old or however, 29 or whatever? But anyway, Naomi reportedly started screaming at Cara and pushing Cara. Well, you haven't heard the worst part. Because they're both 5'10" and they're both thin models, so it's an even Steven physical fight. Cara pushed back and then tried to rip Naomi's weave off. Now, exactly, clutch your pearls. Who does that? Like, who does that? Has anyone in here ever been in a real fist fight before? The women, clap. Have you been in a fist fight in your 40s? No. Naomi, I'm gonna blame it on the alcohol. And then my other part, and Naomi, you know I love you, but I gotta call it like I see it. The other part is that Cara was probably over there with her drink and her cigarette saying, look at Naomi, thinking she's still relevant, like she's still modeling. And Naomi might have caught her cutting her eyes at her, Naomi. And then, because the Rihanna thing doesn't really make sense. I can't even hear when I go to a club. Like, can you hear? I don't like to talk. I don't like when people talk at me in the club because they're breathing that hot Jeremy breath on your ear. And like spitting on you and stuff. Like, who talks in a club, much less who's able to hear somebody talk about somebody? I don't know. I think that there's more to this story. I believe that Naomi, and you still are relevant, Naomi, and you're on one of the hottest shows on TV now. But I don't know Cara, but just based on how she looks in this picture, she might have a mean girl in her. You know what I mean? Anyway, Naomi tweeted later on, she said, don't believe the rumors. And then Cara tweeted back, I don't F with you, you little stupid ass B. So that's what she tweeted back. That modeling game is rough, boy. All right, let's move along and talk about Madonna. So she's explained why she likes dating younger men, which I thought we've heard this explanation before, but apparently people are still asking her. So according to the New York Daily News, she says, most men my age are married with children. They're not dateable. I'm a very adventurous person. I also have a crazy life. I'm a single mother. People who are older and more set in their ways are probably not as adventurous as someone younger. Well, there's something to that, but I do believe that she's overlooking people, I mean, you're only 56, and I say only because, there are guys that you can date that are 56, but they look hot like Donnie Deutsch. You know Donnie Deutsch. They're... Like, and by the time, I don't know the age of Donnie's kids, I know he has kids and stuff like that, but by the time you're an older, more mature man, a lot of times you've been married and divorced, your kids are off, at Harvard or whatever, and so you have time to be adventurous. I just believe that she doesn't want to be adventurous. My real reason that I think that Madonna dates younger men is because Madonna seems like the kind of person that would want to control everything. Like you know. And grown men aren't as controllable as young boys who are just looking at a chance to be with Madonna as bragging rights. Then again, young boys don't care about a 56-year-old woman past 5 minutes, is my thought. And one day we'll all be 56-year-old women, you know, and that's not a disrespect, but I'm just saying, realistically speaking, what does a 32-year-old care about being with a 56-year-old past a few trips to Bali, on her private plane, maybe some new watches, you know, some experiences. That's it. So that's my thought. And then we have some more mature men who work here at Wendy, and they were saying that, you know, if they walked into a restaurant and they saw Madonna sitting there, you know, in like a nice St. John's knit, you know, like being civilized, not like being a rodeo attraction, then they would say, oh my gosh, look at Madonna, she's really, wow. Maybe I'll buy her a drink and send it over or something like that. But when you see this, and then Madonna says that she works very hard physically speaking. She's got a very toned body, sometimes two-toned, sometimes it looks a little, you know, muscular and just a little masculine, but she's got a very toned body, and she says that she works hard at it, and at 56 years old, if she wants to have her butt hanging out, you know, remember her costume that she wore, I showed, yeah. If she wants her booty hanging out of a pair of chaps, or she wants to dress like, you know, a bullfighter, then that's what she's going to do. So I understand what she's saying as well, but then don't blame us for talking about it, you know? And by the way, we were on our stupid vacation when she fell off the steps, because I thought about you immediately when she fell at the concert. You know, shut up, Suzanne, that's not funny. that's not funny.
I laugh every time I watch it.
Well, seeing people fall is funny. It is funny, and it's just, I guess, a natural reaction to laugh. I know for me, and I tell you this all the time, falling is my big, like, you know, it's only 10 minutes after, we're live out of New York. And when those double doors open, I just say, Jesus, take the wheel. Don't make me fall. And then I change into my flats when I go in the audience, because my audience gets so, you know, jumping and rowdy and stuff, I can virtually feel like the platforms move, so I put on my flats. But Madonna says that she was in no pain after this fall. We all saw she got right back up and she started performing. But anybody of a particular age knows, homegirl's been icing her back for the last week, okay? That's number one. And I don't care how good a shape you're in. Over 50 is over 50. And another thing, the reason that, you know, a lot of the youngsters on the Wendy staff, they were like, but Wendy, she got right back up and kept performing. I said, yeah, because everyone knows that it doesn't hurt until the next morning. One last note on Madonna. Do you have favorite Madonna songs? Mine are, I never shared this for you. I like Holiday. And it always makes me feel happy. And I like Crazy for You. Right? That is such an emotional song. Anyway, moving on. Shia LaBeouf, I have to remove your picture from my office when the show is over. I only have one celebrity displayed in my office. If you watch my after show, or if you've ever visited me in my office, then you know. It's Shia LaBeouf. He sits underneath my flat screen TV in a frame from Burlington. And I'll show it to you on today's after show, but I must empty the frame and throw the picture away. For a number of reasons. I didn't tell you this. All right, first of all, he might be getting married. That's not why I'm getting rid of the picture, though. Yeah. Well, excuse me. Looks like he has a type, and that would be his type. They both look like they're from the same, you know what I mean? His girlfriend's name is Mia, and they've been together for a minute, but she was spotted wearing a wedding ring on her wedding ring finger. That looks like the real deal. It doesn't look like, you know, a cigar band or something. That's not why I'm breaking up with him, though. Because I think that marriage will be good for him. I mean, he's like 29 years old now, Shia. 28 years old, but he certainly has had a hard life. And maybe, you know, settling down and having a girlfriend to keep him out of bar fights, right? Keep him from taking French fries from homeless men in Times Square. That was last season, I told you that story. Look, he had too many margaritas at the bar in Times Square. He comes outside the middle of the day, the crossroads of the world, everybody's watching, there's cops every place, and what does Shia do? Goes up to a homeless man and grabs his French fries. Anyway, look. And I'm not bothered by the rat tail, by the way, this thing. Everybody here was just so spazzed out about that. The reason that I'm breaking up with him is because it turned me off to see him dancing in that birdcage looking dirty. Like, I don't want to see my man like that, you know what I mean? And He likes leggings like I like leggings. I don't want to see my man in leggings. Walking down the street like it's common for men to wear leggings. No. Well, maybe I won't throw it away, but I certainly am going to turn it on the other side and put a better picture of somebody else over it. And we didn't talk about this Harrison Ford plane crash business. Well, we just got back to work yesterday, so I couldn't cover everything. But look, so he's 72 years old. And you know he's married to Ally McBeal. Callista Flockhart. She'll always be Ally McBeal to me. I miss that show. Remember the black girl with the good curly hair that used to be on the show too? What was her name? Lisa Nicole, yeah. I miss that show. Anyway, Harrison and Callista are married, and they've been happily married for many, many years. They have a 14-year-old son, and he's got 3 grandchildren. And his wife, Callista, Ally McBeal, is reportedly desperate for him to stop flying because she thinks it's too dangerous. Well, I vote for that also. Not that 72 is old, but I'm just saying he doesn't need to be flying around in the air on a plane, a vintage airplane. He was basically flying the Studebaker version of an airplane. Like, this plane is old. And he's apparently been flying for years, and I think it's now selfish though, because he's got family and kids, and yeah, you know, some of us might just up the life insurance policy and hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. But I would have found out, like, there's certain things that need to be discussed on a first date, like before you start falling in love and stuff, like that you enjoy flying or dangerous sports, jumping out of a plane. I don't know about you, but I'm not for dangerous sports. I don't like motorcycles. I don't like Segways. I barely like, I'm just saying, I barely like a bicycle. So I think that he needs to stop this flying. Do you know what I'm saying? And he didn't die in the crash, but he did break his pelvic. And you know you need your pelvic, especially on a Saturday night. Like, he doesn't need to be breaking things now, and I think that he needs to give this up. If he likes to be up there in a plane flying around, he needs to have a younger, more experienced person actually flying the plane, and then Harris needs to sit on the sidelines. But he did land it, according to code, like an ace. He landed it on a golf course, and so he didn't land on our neighborhood. But you understand with a 72-year-old man buzzing around in the sky, he could land on our he could land on our house. But he didn't land on us, he landed on the golf course, and then, you know, where there's golf, there's guys with money. Apparently there were a whole bunch of doctors there, and they all came over and started helping him out. All right, so I have a disgusting story to tell you. And I can't articulate my opinion except one word, tasteless. And I know what you're saying. Look who's talking. Ta-da! Now look. Okay, this Vogue editor is being blasted for a tasteless picture that she posted on Instagram of a homeless woman reading the Vogue. Just wrong on so many levels. And she's saying that Vogue readers, she said something on her social media like, you know, Vogue readers in unexpected places. It's just sad, like in this day and time, that somebody would remotely think it's okay, just remotely think it's okay to post something like this. But then I did some digging and I found out, oh, she's one of those. She's a German princess whose family started making millions back in the 1200s. No, I didn't say 1800s. I didn't say 17, I said the 1200s. So she's been out of touch all of her royal life. But there's books, woman. There's the TV. You can see how the rest of us live if you would just take your nose out of your behind and have a little compassion. That's like if I saw a homeless person with a little TV and they're watching our show. Like, who puts that on social? That's just wrong. Just wrong. Anyway, that's it for Hot Topics. I'm sorry. Sorry.